as a competitor, Perk, and you know this was going on all year long, and when I wrote about it, I guess in maybe February, about how hard the Warriors were going after him, how determined they were to get him in free agency, that team was recruiting him all year long, and they were texting, and Draymond's talked about it. If you're Russ, if you're some of your teammates, you're going, here we are, and team we're trying to get through, we're competing with at the highest level, and you're interacting with them during the year. Do you think that's hard for guys to get over? You think that's harder for Russ to get over?
Oh, for sure. For sure. I mean, because at the end of the day, Oklahoma City was up 3-1. They should have closed that series out, period, point blank. They should have closed that series out. Oklahoma City was up 3-1. They had those guys right where they wanted them to be. They had the perfect team. Oklahoma City really had the perfect ball club to go and win the championship. And I think on Russ' defense, it is going to be harder for him to deal with it. And I think it's just the way, I think I think more so it was the way, it wasn't really Kevin's decision that how he went to Golden State. I think it's the way he done it. You know, with a guy like that you done won, how many years they probably done won over 50-plus games over his career, 6-7 years maybe with Russ, and y'all been Batman and Robin for that long, despite the differences that the outside world say y'all have and y'all can't play together. Y'all still was winning 50-plus games, and still with everybody being healthy, still at the minimum going to the Western Conference Finals every year with everybody healthy. So my whole thing is that, and this was the thing, was that, okay, it's cool that KD, you're a man, you decide the decision that you want to make.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's a way about how you go about it. And you don't send Russ a text and say, hey, I'm going to the Warriors. No. You do like LeBron James did when he left Miami. He went down and he sat and had dinner with Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade to tell them that he was leaving, that he was going to sign with Cleveland. That's what you do. That's what you do. That carries a long way. It don't take you nothing to call Nick Collison and Russell Westbrook and go and sit down and have a conversation with them and say, guys, hey, look, it's been fun. Y'all, I still love y'all like my brothers, but I'm going to Golden State.
Do you think it's a little bit of maybe just Kevin's personality in that maybe he didn't want, I don't want to say confrontation. It wouldn't have been a confrontation, but it would have been that.
A change of heart. I think it's more of his personality that it would have been hard for him to actually look Russ and Nick in the eyes, because if he would have sat down at a lunch table, I think it would have.
They might have turned him again.
It would have been the same thing happened with DeAndre Jordan.
Yeah.
You know? It's easier to text and be done with it than actually sit down face to face and actually look your friend and your brother in the eyes that you went to war with for 6 years. It's a lot harder and to make your decision a lot harder. You know what I mean?
Do you think it would have made any difference if Russ went to the meeting in Long Island? They had visited the week before, and I think Russ's attitude was, we've talked about this. We just had dinner. Nick and Kevin and Russell had dinner in L.A., and
they was under the impression that he was coming back.
I think everybody was.
And that's just Russ. Russ is not a guy who's going to keep harping on something. Right. It's not that he didn't want KD back, but he said, he a guy that...
He felt it was settled.
It was settled, you know.